Ladies, we are on the show here tonight, and tonight on the show, I want to talk about Luke Walton. Luke Walton apparently has been spending this last week asking for advice. So I'm asking. He's called Eric Spoelstra. He's called Channing Frye. He's called Tyronn Lue. Asking for advice on how to coach LeBron James. I'm like, I understand he's a little bit worried, but he needs to be his own man. He needs to stop being so worried about this shit. And so far, everybody's telling him, like Tyronn, I don't know what Eric Spoelstra and Channing Frye told them, but I read that Tyronn Lue, who's looking to work at Kentucky Fried Chicken, I'm hearing, if anybody here is in charge of Kentucky Fried Chicken, or knows somebody that works in Kentucky Fried Chicken, please help Luke Walton. He is looking for a job at Kentucky Fried Chicken. Anyways, he told him, hey, you know what you need to understand with LeBron James is that he is so smart and he has a very good memory. So you need to, when you're making your game plan, your strategy, and you present, you show the team the strategy, that he may question it at times, that he may say, hey, okay, but how about we do this instead? I like this part, but how come this part we should do it like this? And and a lot of times he ends up being right. So sometimes he can outsmart you and make you look like an idiot, but it might be better for the team. So Tyronn Lue was telling Luke Walton not to feel bad at sometimes, LeBron James accidentally outsmarts him because, he's so smart. They were saying that he remembers a lot of plays, from games past. They play, say, the Indiana, and then 2-3 weeks later they play them again, and they try to do a play, and he kind of reads the play, and he knows exactly what they're doing. Sometimes he'll even hear names, and then like ISO 47, and then, and 2-3 weeks later they play again, he hears ISO 47, he knows exactly what that play is. He has a very good memory. He remembers everybody's sets, his teammates' sets, the team they're playing against sets. He's very smart, So, Tyronn Lue was trying to tell Luke Walton, you have got to be ready for him questioning you, or sometimes accidentally, doesn't necessarily mean to embarrass you, but he might question your game plan or your strategy, because that's just how he is. He cares about it so much, and he is so smart, and you have to be ready for that. And so, yeah, I'm just saying, but at the same time, I think, this is the thing, LeBron James has always had, not very good coaches, He had, Paul Silas, I believe, was his first coach. Then he had Mike Brown. Then he had Eric Spoelstra, David Blatt, Tyronn Lue, and now he's going to have Luke Walton. Paul Silas, David Blatt ended up getting fired. But the other two guys, he won a champ. Paul Silas got fired. Mike Brown got fired. Oh shit, yeah. 3 out of 5 ended up getting fired. Ugh. Luke Walton, it's funny because it's like all or nothing when you coach this man. Either you go on the Mike Brown, Paul Silas, David Blatt, that they got fired, or you go on the Eric Spoelstra, Tyronn Lue team that won championships. So you either get fired or you win championships. That's just how it is with LeBron James. David Blatt, Paul Silas, and Mike Brown got fired. And then on the other side, Eric Spoelstra and Ty Lue won championships. It's all or nothing with LeBron James. As a coach, either you're going to get fired or you're going to win a championship. That's how it's been in the past with his coaches. 3 got fired, 2 won championships with him. So Luke Walton, where are you going to be? We have got to see. He's going to have a lot of pressure, and nobody's going to have more pressure because at least those 5 guys were coaching. 3 of them were coaching in Cleveland. Mike Brown, Paul Silas, David Blatt, Tyronn Lue. Actually, 4 of them were coaching in Cleveland. Who cares about Cleveland? Come on. It's not a big market. And then the Miami one, Eric Spoelstra. But he had Pat Riley by his side. So, if any, you could almost see low-key Pat Riley behind the scene was kind of coaching the team as well. Where now, it's Los Angeles. Everybody's going to be paying attention. It's not just LeBron James. It's also LA, Los Angeles Lakers. The most historic franchise in NBA, in the league. Everybody's going to be paying attention, whether you're a LeBron supporter or a Lakers fan. everybody's going to be paying attention. And see, Luke Walton does not have that luxury that Eric Spoelstra had, having a former, a 9-time NBA champion, and Pat Riley. He does not have that. He has Magic Johnson, but Magic Johnson's not a coach. He's a former player. It's a little bit different. He can't necessarily give him advice on how to coach and how to address a team on certain situations, how to coach the team, how to run practices. Because Magic Johnson was a player, he was not a coach. He coached the team for a time, but I believe it didn't go where it ended up going south very fast. So Eric Spoelstra had the luxury of having a very good, one of the best coaches in history, and Pat Riley, and giving him advice. Luke Walton, he's going to have a very good man in Magic Johnson, but it's a former player. It's a little bit different. Look at Michael Jordan in the Charlotte. Look how much trouble he's had. It's very hard. It's very hard to be a coach when you're as amazing. When you're look at I made a video I think last summer about Michael Vick trying to get into coaching and how I did not think it was going to work, because it's always been that great players don't turn out to be good coaches, because to them it comes so easy, so it's hard for them to understand why some other players doesn't come as easy. I think that's the problem with Michael Jordan. He's like, why don't these guys get it as fast as I did? He just doesn't seem to understand it. Kobe Bryant already said he will never try to be a coach because he would fail on it. So it's going to be hard for Magic Johnson to give him advice, to give Luke Walton advice on how to coach, because he's never been a coach. And the few games he was a coach, it went south pretty fast. So I think at least he's getting all the advice possible for former teammates, former coaching. What the fuck is happening? He's getting all the advice he can from former coaches, and Ty Lue, Eric Spoelstra, and a former teammate of him, and Channing Frye. And we'll see what happens. But I think Luke Walton has got to be his man. He has got to put his foot down and tell LeBron, I'm the coach, but I will be open to taking advantage. I will be open to taking advice from you. But I'm the coach. I think that's what Tyronn Lue did a little bit, especially in the beginning. That year they won the championship. He told him, I'm the coach. And he even got mad at him once for going to talk to LeBron, for going to talk to Dwayne Wade, when they were warming up. It's like, hey, we can be friends. We're opponents. You can be friends when you're off the field. But right now we're about to play a game. You can't be smiling and shaking hands and hugging Dwayne Wade. Do that after the game. And LeBron seems like, you're right. So he stood up to him, and then towards the end, it was the other way around. LeBron James really started getting all over Ty Lue. Remember, Ty Lue had to take a few weeks off because he couldn't even sleep at night. He was so stressed out. Every coach said has. I think Mike Brown handled it pretty good. They never won a championship, but I think out of all the 5 coaches, I think that was the one that really handled him the best. Because Eric Spoelstra, even though they won 2 championships, in the beginning it was hard. They struggled. Remember that play where they were struggling in Miami? Eric Spoelstra calls a timeout, and LeBron James runs into him. He was getting pressure with Eric Spoelstra. They were calling for Eric Spoelstra to get fired and have Pat Riley be the coach. So even though Eric Spoelstra had some success, at the beginning it was tough for him too. David Blatt, it was tough. Paul Silas, it was tough. Ty Lue, he stood up to him at first, and they were successful at first, winning the championship. But the last 2 years, Ty Lue started struggling. So to me, the guy, he never won a championship with him. They went to a finals in 2007. But the guy that did the best job, I thought, at coaching him and really using his coach authority and standing up to LeBron James. Now LeBron James was a younger guy. That he was in his 20s. He was a little bit younger. He didn't have as much confidence to go up to the coach and like he does now. But that was probably the best job I thought a LeBron coach did, was Mike Brown when he was their coach. Never won a championship, and won a lot of games, and went to a finals in 2007. But it's going to be interesting to see how Luke Walton handles this. But I'm liking he's actually asking advice and trying to get tips. But at the same time, he has got to be his own man and put his foot down and tell him, hey LeBron, I respect you. I'm willing to take advice. But at the end of the day, I am your head coach, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying, ladies? Anyways, what else can I say but thank you? I think the show's over. The show's over. Chicken Lex says I should go to ESPN. Chicken Lex, I agree with you. LA, maybe ESPN LA. You already know. Can you imagine the Mexican fat ass in Los Angeles getting all the women? Anyways, I want to think. So yeah, thank you. I believe Patterson said it too, and I believe Ronald said it too. That is 3 people who have said it, that I should go on national television or radio talk. Bill Patterson said it, then Marty said it, and now Ronald said it. I mean, no. Chicken Lex said it, then Ronald, then Ronald said it, then Patterson said it. Everybody, 3 people have said it. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this topic, though. Let me know in the comment section. And until next time, I am the Mexican Fat Ass. I am CE. We are almost about 20 days from football. I am excited. No, not from the season, but from me for the team's previews. We're about 20 days. Put in your calendar. We are about 20 days away. What else can I say but thank you? And until next time, I will see you later.